Okay, it's Sunday 9th of October, exactly 14 days out from the NBA British Finals at the minute. Coming a week after Mike Williams Classic, which is my fourth show of the year. But I hit my peak at the Mike Williams Classic. That was a good show. That really was. That was a cracking show. Okay, so today, food intake. Okay, I'm waking 50 grams of oats, 50 grams of banana, 20 grams of whey. I then trained. At the moment, I'm training legs, upper body, legs, upper body, legs, upper body. Just for the overall calorie burn, to be honest. Not really going to build much muscle this deep into a diet. Um, and then after training lasts about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, made mainly compound exercises. After training, exactly the same meal as before I train. So I have carbs, protein, buffer in either side of that. 3 hours later, I'll eat about 120 grams of turkey, 150 grams sweet potato, and various veg, mainly cabbages, large amounts of cabbage. Eat exactly the same 3 hours later, exactly the same 3 hours later. So, pretty much my main carb sources are literally banana, one banana a day, spread around my workout. Take the banana out on non-training days. Oats, sweet potato, and they are pretty much all my carb sources at the moment. They've been slowly cut down throughout my diet. So at the start of my diet, I was using, say, Pop Tarts, Haribo, a lot more fast digesting ones that maybe don't leave you full for as long. And then as my calories became less, as they needed to get leaner, I switched those for things that are higher in fibre, because the fibre content obviously slows down digestion. Throughout this diet, I've kept protein quite low, about 150 grams a day. I've I really did not see any advantage at all from having above that last year. Last year I went the traditional high protein, very low carb, performance dropped, strength dropped, felt awful. I mean, I don't feel $1,000,000 now, but I felt like shit basically. Um, so yeah, a lot more carbs, especially around workouts. If you can't maintain your strength, then you're going to be losing muscle because you're not applying the stimulus to keep that there. And if you don't have the energy to apply the stimulus, the muscle then becomes unneeded, so the body will sacrifice it when it gets down to the point where there's very little body fat left. Supplements at the moment, really simple, cheap and cheerful. Whey concentrate, 80 grams a day at most, usually about 60 though. Creatine monohydrate, 5 grams a day. Conjugated lipoic acid, which is just a healthy fat that allows you to burn fat more efficiently. And also, some studies show that it helps retain muscle tissue a lot more effectively than other ways of doing so. Is there anything else? Oh, large amounts of green tea, large amounts of caffeine, and that is pretty much my full arsenal of supplementation at the moment. Last year I used all different kinds of fancy fat burners. They're all basically made up of caffeine and green tea extract, and you can get that from a cup of coffee and a cup of green tea. Plus, you get hydrated from both of them, so they make more sense to me. So I've been prepping for about 6 to 7 months now. That's been a very slow drive down from a starting weight of about 75 to 76 kilos to my current weight, which is 69 to 70 kilos or thereabouts. I thought I'd end up heavier than I have, dieting very slowly, thought I wouldn't lose muscle. I'm actually lighter, even though I took it incredibly slowly, didn't do cardio until the last few weeks. It just goes to show that once you're in a trained state and your body's matured, if you're a natural athlete, if the hormones aren't there to support an extra 10 pounds of muscle, you won't carry an extra 10 pounds of muscle. It's that simple, especially when in proper condition. So yeah, it came down about a kilo a month. First competed in August. I was 72.5 to 73 kilos about a week out from that one. And then I competed at the Southwest show. I was about 71 kilos a week out from that one. UKDFBA, which is the British arm of the WNBF, Lee Kemp show. I was just under 70 a week out from that. And now my current show, the latest show, the Mike Williams Classic, which was the peak of the year, where I felt I hit what was perfection for me, I was 69.5 throughout the week before the show. So as I've got lower, as I've got lighter, I look better and better, because obviously you can see more detail, you can see the separation, and this is a sport of illusion, it's a sport of smoke and mirrors. If you look big in a t-shirt, odds on you're going to look pretty small on stage. Whereas the skinnier you look, or the sharper your cheekbones, let's say, the better you seem to look on stage, because obviously you can see the separation between the muscles, and you can see the true beauty of the body, and it's not masked by fat. So the Mike Williams Classic, I felt to hit my peak. Trained normally as well into that show, no peak week strategies, no dramatic carb loading, no salt loading, nothing special. No point messing about with it, in my opinion. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time. Why change something that's worked all the way into a show? Why change it in the last week to maybe look 2 or 3% better or 20% worse? It makes no sense whatsoever. So I trained heavy. I squatted the week of the show. In fact, I squatted about 4 to 5 days before the show, and my legs were still very separated. They were fuller. It just made a lot more sense, really. And throughout early in the year, I did use peak week strategies. I've had to cut water for some, just to make weight, just to get into light weights. But now I've found that the less you do, the better you look. So that's what I'm going to do for the finals now. The finals is in 14 days. All I'm doing, training hard. My calories, about 1900 a day at the minute. So they're quite low, 1900 to 2000 a day. They started out on my diet around 3500 and just trimmed it down in order to hold on to as much strength as possible. So I'm going to hold it at 1900 calories a day. Training simple, heavy and compound. Training 3 days on, 1 day off. And then I'll probably stop training on about Wednesday, because I'm hammering it pretty hard at the minute. I'm doing cardio every second day, just about, which is a 20-minute run, about 2.5 miles. I do that very early in the morning, about 6 AM, and I do that after my weight training. So that brings me to where I am now with my diet and with my training. How I feel now? Lethargic. I've been doing this for a long time. 6 to 7 months to die's a long time, and I work about 70 hours a week, so I am pretty much running on vapor at the minute, but it's exactly where I needed to be. If I had been running on vapor 3 weeks ago, I would have ended up losing a lot of size and strength, and I wouldn't have been right. At the moment I feel I've flowed in perfectly. I've never been this lean, and I've never been this strong while being this lean. After last year before the finals, I was incredibly weak in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And this time, about only 20 to 40 kilos off my best off-season lifts, which at a weight of 69 kilos I think is pretty good. That's what I wanted to accomplish this year. So yeah, apart from feeling a bit lethargic, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, we choose to go on diets. Nobody forces us to go on a diet. And I think that's what a lot of us forget. So, final stretch now.